In previous classes, already we have discussed about the heart, how this heart is acting, means anatomy, physiology, and we have also seen what is this, the ECG or cardiac cycle. Now it is clear to us. I think it is already clear to us. Now we are going to discuss about how this is controlling or how all the problems related to heart it is coming to our body, and what was the motto that previous 2 days we have discussed only about the anatomy, physiology. Now first problem, basically first phenomena I should say, I think you have heard that name, that is blood pressure. So now this blood pressure, it is a pressure which is exerted by the blood to the inner wall of our vessel, that is called as blood pressure. That is the definition. The pressure which is exerted by the blood to the inner wall of the vessel, that is called as blood pressure. Now this blood pressure continuously it is having in our body. Blood, if blood is there, blood pressure it will be there. That pressure it is going to feel by the blood vessels from which the blood is passing. Now this blood pressure, if you are going to find out, we are having a systolic pressure, we are having a diastolic pressure, and definitely systolic pressure and diastolic pressure we are having means we are having a mean pressure. So the average systolic pressure is 120 mmHg, the diastolic pressure is 80 mmHg, and mean pressure means 120 plus 80, that is divided by 2, it will come near about 100 mmHg. The most important two terminology is systolic pressure by diastolic pressure, means we are going to find out 120 by 80, that is the normal blood pressure of our body. When the heart is going for systole, it is exerting the pressure is equivalent to 120 mmHg, and when it will be heart is in diastole, it will give the pressure 80 mmHg. This is the normal phenomena it is happening to our body. What it will happen if this pressure will increase? This pressure may increase due to various reasons, lots of reasons. If your heart it is increasing the cardiac output, pressure will increase. If the TPR, total peripheral resistance, it will increase. So this angiotensin antagonist losartan, in 3 to 6 weeks it's give a peak response. It start to produce the action very early stage, very fast, very beginning. You are going to find out the result it is coming. Okay, so along with that, in 3 to 6 weeks it will give its peak action. But some of the problems or side effects they are coming with this angiotensin antagonist, that is the cough, urticaria, angioedema. All these things are common side effects in the case of losartan. Losartan is a good treatment choice, but for longer use its effects on morbidity and mortality. So for longer term use, the prescriber should be careful on that patient about this losartan. Number 3 group of drug we are going to find out, that is CCB. It is a revolutionary drug. It made the revolution in the era of hypertension, antihypertensive drug. It's such a good drug. We can find out this example in different categories. Verapamil, nifedipine, diltiazem, they are having different groups, means different chemical figure, but all of they are actually similar because they are calcium channel blocker. I told you previously how come this calcium is essential for the blood pressure. What is this? sodium and calcium, they blood pressure will increase. So cardiac output, how it is increasing? Suppose I am telling you one of the pipeline is there, there is a continuous water supply. In that particular water supply, suddenly the force of supply has increased. What it will happen? The pressure of the water to the pipeline, it will be more. So same like that, when heart is pumping more blood, cardiac output will be more. Cardiac output will be more means blood pressure will be more. So when this blood pressure will be more, oppositely, in another sense we can say, if you are gardening and you are giving the water by using a pipe, you press the pipe, what it will happen? The water, it will forcefully eject to the longer distance. If you release the end of the pipe, what it will happen? The water will indulge and it will fall near distance. Means there the pressure is increasing. So same thing it will happen if your blood vessel will get constricted. What it will happen? Your blood pressure will increase and immediately the matters will go as far as the pharmacology concerned. So now we are going to find out this, what it will happen if the pressure will exceed to 120 by 80, that is called as hypertension. If the pressure will be below to 120 by 80, that is called as hypotension. So hyper one, it is hypertension, 5 letters are there, so that's why it is more, HYPER, I told you previous classes also. Hypo, HYPO, 4 letters are there, it will be less. So blood pressure, it is increasing means hyper, it is decreasing means hypo, but both are tension. Now we are going to find out how this will be regulated and how this is happening to our body. Remember that as the heart it is pumping, cardiac output, the vessel constriction or relaxation, it is depending on that, depending our blood pressure. If the vessel will get constricted, definitely blood pressure will more. If cardiac output will be more, blood pressure will be more. Along with that, another hero is there behind that story who is working a major role and controlling all our blood pressure mechanism. This calcium channel blocker, it's having lots of benefits, I have told you, but this is also having some inhibitions. Major inhibitions, that is one you have seen that nifedipine we cannot use in the time of diabetic patient. Along with that, this calcium channel blocker, it is having a great limitation. We cannot use the patient who are facing any of the ischemic heart disease. Example, myocardial infarction or angina pectoris or heart attack, all these cases. Because most of the cases this is not effective. How much it is effective in the left ventricular hypertrophy, it is a big doubt. Because this is the calcium channel blocker, it is blocking the calcium channel. Definitely it will alter the situation when there is a hypertrophy. So we should be very cautious, or it is having a great limitation in the treatment of ischemic heart diseases. You cannot use this. So these are few of the advantages, few of the disadvantages we have discussed with calcium channel blocker. We have seen these 3 classifications, students, these 3 types of drugs. ACE inhibitor, this is captopril, enalapril. I have told already in beginning stage also we can use this drug, and moreover the patient who are having angina pectoris or any of the ischemic heart disease, myocardial infarction, also ACE inhibitors is a very good choice of drug. But angiotensin antagonist, that is a receptor based drug, that also we have seen losartan. And calcium channel blocker, we have seen what are the advantages, disadvantages. This is gained the most attention last 20 years in the treatment of hypertension. This is a overselling, means most popular drug which is selling in the market, and day by day new molecules we are getting. So this is a very popular drug, but it is having a few of the limitations. So today we have discussed about these 3 groups of drugs. Next day we are coming with these 4 or 5 classifications. Okay, take care. On this regards, angiotensin, what is this? This is a you can tell plasma protein. This is alpha 2 globulin. So the plasma protein means it is protein which is the component of our blood, means which is the part of plasma. So this plasma protein, it will get converted into angiotensin 1. When it will get converted? When there will be a effect of renin on that. So who is that renin? Renin is going to secreted by the kidney, the juxtaglomerular cell. The kidney juxtaglomerular cell, they used to secrete renin. Remember that this angiotensin 1, it is a decapeptide. Okay, so decapeptide means 10 numbers of linkage are there. Okay, so when it will be this angiotensin 1, on that angiotensin converting enzyme, that is ACE, will act on this and it will get converted to angiotensin 2. Okay, so angiotensin 1 will get converted to angiotensin 2 in presence of ACE. I told this is a decapeptide. This is a decapeptide. This is a octapeptide, angiotensin 2, and angiotensin 3 is a heptapeptide, means 7 are there. Octa means 8. So 10 it will get degraded, it will produce the octapeptide, octa will get degraded and it will become a heptapeptide, that is angiotensin 3. So remember that the major role it is going to carry over here, over this conversation, that is the ACE, angiotensin converting enzyme, which converts the angiotensin 1 to angiotensin 2. So ultimately after that angiotensin 3, we ultimately will get an inactive fragment, means an inactive component which will not be in use. Now what it will happen? See, find out that when this angiotensin 2 will produce, it will produce the constriction. What constriction? Vasoconstriction. What is the meaning of vasoconstriction? The vessel from which the blood is going, that will get constricted. Along with that, what it will happen? It will produce the sodium and water retention. You know, sodium is hygroscopic. Where that sodium, which side it will go, water also it will follow. So it will produce the retention, means filtration rate will be slow. So it will get retention in your body. So these two are active, these two major activity or major conditions which is going to happen by your angiotensin 2. One is vasoconstriction, one is water retention, sodium water retention. So these two, the activity it is going to happen by angiotensin 2. When this angiotensin 2 will get converted to angiotensin 3, it will make the aldosterone secretion. This is going to produce the aldosterone secretion. So now what it will happen? If vasoconstriction is there, just now I told, when the vessel will get constricted, automatically there will be a rise in BP. You know that. Because the vessel is constricted means it is getting narrow, the pressure will be more. Sodium water retention means what it is happening? The blood volume, it is increasing. In your body, the exactly you should tell, the blood is diluting and it is increasing. So these two things it will happen. So if these things will happen, we are going, in result we are going to find out rise in BP and increase the blood volume. So if these things too will happen, rise in BP and increase the blood volume, both will negatively act on your renin. Means it will inhibit the renin secretion from juxtaglomerular cell. So renin secretion will get inhibited, means that angiotensin will not get converted to angiotensin 1. That conversion will get stopped. This is called as renin-angiotensin system. This plays a major role or key role when we are going to find out about our blood pressure as far as the blood pressure is concerned. In the same time, if there is a hemorrhage, there is an accident, there is a blood loss, there is a volume loss, any that sodium loss, blood loss, any that type of loss, it will instigate your renin. What it will happen? This renin will get activated, conversion will be high. So at that condition, definitely due to your blood loss, volume loss, your vasodilation, all these things, renin will get activated and ultimately your blood pressure will increase. That is a automatic system, or this you can tell this is the feedback mechanism. It is going to happen in your body by finding on the situation. If your blood pressure will be more, body will try to recover to bring it back to the normal. If it is less, that also body will produce the action on that to increase or to maintain the blood pressure. Hypotension is, I should say, both of the situations are abnormalities, but hypotension is somehow better than hypertension. Hypotension, mostly in the case, we are going to control this situation by food habits, rest, all these things. Means most of the measures we are taking by maintaining the diet. Diet chart will be rectified. More quantity of salt consumption is required. Along with that, protein, whatever that it will increase your body activity, that things may increase your body pressure, means blood pressure. So this is a different matter we are going to discuss here about. That is, the matter is hypertension. As the antihypertensive drug concerned, so we are going to get this type of drug classification, major classifications. Number one by one I will take and I will discuss with you. Number one, that is called as ACE inhibitor. So you should know how this ACE inhibitor is acting. Already we have discussed the renin-angiotensinogen system, and on in renin-angiotensinogen system we have seen what is the role of ACE, angiotensin converting enzyme. It helps to convert angiotensin 1 to angiotensin 2. Angiotensin 1, what is a decapeptide, it will get converted to a octapeptide in presence of angiotensin converting enzyme. So if this enzyme will be inhibited by influence of some drug, what it will happen? Automatically the production of angiotensin 1 will decrease and angiotensin 2 production will reduce. If angiotensin 2 production will reduce, then what it will happen? Vasoconstriction will not be there, sodium and water retention will not be there. So automatically the pressure will fall down. This is the mechanism of angiotensin inhibitor. For starting a treatment with a patient, means patient are facing a just nascent and hypertension, means just started, this drug, it is a good choice. 40 to 50% of the patient will respond with this drug very early. Okay, and in this we are going to find out near about the dose is 2.5 mg to 10 mg of ACE inhibitor produce a miraculous action in 50% of the population of our total patient. So this group of drug is good. Example of this group of drug is captopril, enalapril. Enalapril is a prototype of drug. Okay, so this you can use at the starting treatment. If sometimes we are not finding very good result with ACE inhibitor, then we may skip, or we can start this drug with a combination of with another one drug. Okay, another one group of drug. So that we are going to find out. Number 2, that is the angiotensin antagonist. Angiotensin antagonist means here we are talking about angiotensin 1. What is this angiotensin antagonist? It is going to directly antagonize the function of angiotensin. Means this is a receptor based action. Here the angiotensin, it is binding with that particular receptor, it will be blocked by angiotensin antagonist. Example of this drug is losartan. So this losartan, it is going to decrease the blood pressure, as angiotensin will not produce the action, means automatically the volume will get reduced, the blood volume will get reduced. If the blood volume will get reduced, cardiac output will fall down. So definitely there is a chance of falling down of the pressure. The average dose is nearby. You can start the treatment with 50 mg of this particular losartan. So near about 30 to 40% of the patient get started or get very good response after treating with this losartan. But it's not as much as popular like enalapril or captopril. I means you know that calcium, which side it will go? Sodium, definitely it will follow this. So calcium and sodium, they are going together, means what it will happen? There is a chances of vasoconstriction. So this particular, if this calcium channel will be blocked, so there is no chances of going of calcium inside of your vessel, no chances of constriction. So this calcium channel blocker, it is a revolutionary product, or it made the revolution in the treatment of anti-hypertension era. We found lots of advantages this is going to produce by this calcium channel blocker. What are the advantages? Number one, it don't change the hemodynamics. Means it don't alter the body volume. Number one. Number two, it don't alter the male reproductive action. It is very easy to administer with a pregnant lady. You can administer this particular calcium channel blocker. This is a very good choice of drug. The patient who is having asthma, also calcium channel blocker can be easily administered. So if the patient is having any renal dysfunctioning, renal disability, then also calcium channel blocker is a good choice of drug. So lots of advantages we are having, but still this calcium channel blocker have some limitation. Especially I told you three examples: verapamil, nifedipine and diltiazem. Nifedipine shows some limitations. What is this? Nifedipine cannot be administered in the patient who have diabetic, because nifedipine reduces the or limit the secretion of insulin. So if it will limit the secretion of insulin, what it will happen? Automatically the situations will be more hyperglycemic. So in this condition, the patient, if he or she is diabetic, we should think sometimes for using of calcium channel blocker, especially nifedipine. This calcium channel blocker, it's having lots of benefits, I have told you, but this is also having some inhibitions. Major inhibitions, that is one you have seen that nifedipine we cannot use in the time of diabetic patient. Along with that, this calcium channel blocker, it is having a great limitation. We cannot use the patient who are facing any of the ischemic heart disease. Example, myocardial infarction or angina pectoris or heart attack, all these cases. Because most of the cases this is not effective. How much it is effective in the left ventricular hypertrophy, it is a big doubt. Because this is the calcium channel blocker, it is blocking the calcium channel. Definitely it will alter the situation when there is a hypertrophy. So we should be very cautious, or it is having a great limitation in the treatment of ischemic heart diseases. You cannot use this. So these are few of the advantages, few of the disadvantages we have discussed with calcium channel blocker. We have seen these three classifications today, these three types of drugs: ACE inhibitor, This is captopril, enalapril. I have told already in beginning stage also we can use this drug, and moreover the patient who are having angina pectoris or any of the ischemic heart disease, myocardial infarction, also ACE inhibitors is a very good choice of drug. But angiotensin antagonist, that is a receptor based drug, that also we have seen losartan. And calcium channel blocker, we have seen what are the advantages, disadvantages. This is gained the most attention last 20 years in the treatment of hypertension. This is a overselling, means most popular drug which is selling in the market, and day by day new molecules we are getting. So this is a very popular drug, but it is having a few of the limitations. So today we have discussed about these 3 groups of drugs. Next day we are coming with these 4 or 5 classifications. Okay, take care.